Spain entered this tournament under a suffocating weight of expectation. As the second-ranked team in the world, they were expected to start their campaign with a statement of total dominance. They arrived with a 31-game unbeaten streak and a roster filled with globally recognized stars. This was a team built to win the entire competition, not just survive the opening round. Their opponents, Cabo Verde, represent a population of roughly 500,000 people. In land area, they are the smallest nation to ever qualify for a World Cup. This chart shows the financial gap between the two sides. Spain's roster is valued at $1.4 billion, a figure that dwarfs Cabo Verde's $63 million squad value and 67th place FIFA ranking. But 90 minutes later, the scoreboard showed a 0-0 draw. Results like this are rarely the product of luck. Holding a Titan to a scoreless draw requires specific alignment of tactical discipline and individual defiance. Spain's stat sheet suggested a masterclass in control, 750 passes and 2.23 expected goals. But this chart of their 27 shots tells the real story. Most of those attempts were hopeful strikes from 30 yards out, low-probability shots taken because they couldn't find a way inside. Spain lacked the explosive wide threat needed to pull a defense apart. Without fully fit wingers to stretch the pitch, their attack became condensed and static. This forced Spain into a predictable pattern. They fell back on lateral, methodical tiki-taka passing, moving the ball side to side without ever penetrating the final third of the pitch. High possession numbers are meaningless without the physical tools to break an opponent's lines. It's a tactical trap that makes a dominant team look dangerous while they are actually toothless. Spain's inefficiency was only half the problem. Cabo Verde didn't survive by simply retreating into their own box. They maintained a rigid defensive shape that turned the pitch into a series of traps. Instead of defending one-on-one, Cabo Verde's defenders worked in small triangles. Whenever a Spanish player received the ball, 3 defenders instantly closed in to isolate him. This approach neutralized Spain's most creative substitute wingers, swarming them constantly and leaving them nowhere to go. Disciplined spacing can negate billion-dollar individual talent. If the passing lanes are blocked by a wall of triangles, even the best players in the world run out of options. Tactical discipline is the foundation, but a 90-minute siege eventually comes down to the moments where a system breaks and an individual has to step in. For Cabo Verde, that individual was Vozinha. At 40 years old, the veteran goalkeeper plays his club football in the Portuguese second division. Despite a transfer value of only $40,000, Vozinha produced 7 critical saves against the best shooters in Europe, earning Man of the Match honors. He was supported by 33-year-old Shamrock Rovers defender Pico Lopez, who provided a desperate, game-saving block in the final minutes to preserve the clean sheet. Lopez's presence in this match was a fluke of modern networking. The national team manager recruited him via a cold LinkedIn message, an outrage Lopez initially ignored for nearly a year because he thought it was spam. Veteran composure and unconventional scouting can bridge the gap between a small island nation and the world's most expensive football academies. The result leaves Spain in a pressure cooker. To keep their tournament hopes alive, they now face a must-win game against Saudi Arabia. Their survival depends on their medical staff. They need their young wingers back at full match fitness, or they risk being suffocated by the next disciplined defense they face. For the wider sport, these 90 minutes offer a proof of concept for an expanded World Cup. These matches allow smaller nations to project their identity and their language on the most watched stage in the world. After all, football isn't played on a spreadsheet. On any given afternoon, a nation of 500,000 can stand ground against a billion-dollar roster and walk off the pitch as equals.